We're in a matrix. We're in a matrix.
Yeah. Let's do this. One of the fastest growing talk shows on the internet. Radio show. Welcome aboard the Matrix Minds. One of the most controversial conspiratorial shows on the internet. The Matrix Minds. And that's right. Buckle up, everybody. Let's go. Paranormal, huh? Conspiracy, huh? Ufology, hidden Egyptology, and anything and everything we can get our hands on. Let's go. Welcome aboard. The Matrix Minds. The Matrix Minds. Sure.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole is. All I'm offering is the truth. Stay in Wonderland. All I'm offering is the truth. Stay in Wonderland. All I'm offering is the truth.
Hi, gorgeous souls. I am Lady Stars on Fire, and it is time to break the cage and exercise the machine from within. But before I get into everything, this is going to be the energy forecast for August 31st through September 6th. And I want to say, as I'm bringing out the energy forecast, I've been getting a lot more people paying attention to me, thanks to Matt from the Matrix Mind Media and from Black Sheep Media, because he's been reposting these videos or the audio from these videos out to give everybody that energy forecast. And with that, I want to say, first off, thank you to Matt, but second off, because I am having more people who are acknowledging the energy forecast, and I want to make sure that I'm making it very clear as I do the forecast, that this is a universal energy forecast for all. Now, there are those who understand astrology, and then there are those who have no clue. And a lot of people will tell you that you can't tell anything without a natal chart. Well, like I said, this is a universal reading. So what I'm trying to get at is, no, I don't have your natal charts in front of me. And when you get into a natal chart, it does get much deeper and much more into detail. However, the universal energies and what's going on in the energy forecast, it is still there. It just shifts and plays a little bit more in depth when it gets into a person's personal natal chart. But the energies on the universal reading is still there completely. It just kind of manipulates and shifts a little bit into the houses. But for anybody who isn't into astrology, I'm giving you that universal idea, and I'm giving you it from a full universal perspective of understanding what the energies are so that you can see how that plays out in some form within your life, and then how it is best to deal with the energies as you start to acknowledge them in your life. Now, like I said, this is breaking the cage, breaking the matrix. We're exercising the machine from within so we can come back to wholeness. And we are, more or less, we are in the beginning stages of the reckoning. This is, again, August 31st through the 6th. We are in the bull energy. It is as a spirit animal, a spirit totem. Native Americans use it a lot in their way of doing things, so to speak. But we look at it as the bull energy, and it speaks to us of strength, power, and abundance. But the thing is, when one is in their power, they have nothing to fear. They have nothing to fear because they are in their power. They are not going to be manipulated. They are not going to be pushed around. They are not going to be belittled. So when others are trying to push those buttons, their power allows them to stand firm and tall and solid without getting aggressive and taking it onto a much more negative standpoint. So, are you letting your light shine? Are you rebirthing? Are you allowing your light to shine? Are you rebirthing? Are you, all of a sudden I guess that word is not supposed to come out because it's like they won't let me say it. But are you coming into your power? Are you standing in your light? How much do you want this life? How much do you want the life that you are trying to create? And what will you do? Or are you in your power but not? You just think you are. And you're more like a bull in a china shop, just destroying everything so that it feels like you're in your power. What I'm getting for this week is figure out where it is that you stand soulfully. Figure out what your beliefs are soulfully. Come to comprehend and understand from the depths of you what it is that these beliefs are, and are they actually working for you or are they not, and they need to be reshaped, remaneuvered. When we look at it from the point of view of like Saturn, we're looking at rules, walls, and boundaries. So do these rules, walls, and boundaries need to be shifted for our beliefs to have that soul connection and really follow through from an authentic level? And then once we evaluate what our soul beliefs are, the next question is, well, are you going to betray that or not? We are going to be tested this week. We're going to have a very emotional week. It is a very sensitive week. It is emotional, mental, and a physically sensitive week. Empaths, ground yourself and have your protection stones on so that you are not sucking up everybody else's energies. In the medical astrology this week, through the planetary movement, you are going to be feeling energies within the lungs, within the thighs, the hips, the ankles, your vision, your vocal cords, the liver, the kidneys, the abdominal muscles. In a form, your chakras are all somewhat under attack, but they're not under attack. What it is we're trying to flush out the lower vibrational frequencies. We are trying to flush out the waste of those lower vibrational frequencies. Now, the moon is going to add tension to this energy because the moon is going to travel through Cancer, then into Leo, and then where it will hit its new moon in Virgo on the 6th. Now, you have to understand, in Cancer for one, on an empath level, is one of the highest, most strongest, powerful empaths. It also is the clown. It tends to absorb everybody else's energy. This is why Cancers seem to seem angry, because they absorb more emotional energy than they normally understand. And Cancers are nesting. Cancers only want to be able to feel comfortable and happy. And when that is taken from them or it is in question, then they become more like the crab. Then we're moving into the moon moves into Leo. And that is where we become a little bit more like the lion in the cage if you're not in a good place within your soul and the physical life that you are living. Leos can be very dramatic, very, very dramatic. They can cause extra dramatic energies within the life itself. They are very bold, very blunt, very fireful, and outside of energy, but they're also a fixed sign, which means once you're in that energy, it's hard for you to get out of it. Then we move it into Virgo as we come to that new moon. So this is picking apart everything prior to the new moon to set the new directions. So this is technically your dark moon as we're approaching the full moon. The new moon. And the new moon is all about new directions, new ideas, and how do we bring this into life and into fruition. Well, you're being shown through this dark moon as it runs through Cancer and Leo, everything that's picking apart, everything that you want to roar at. You're being shown what and why it isn't working well or what it is working well within your life. The key to everything is in the relationships. The key to everything is in the relationships, whether they're healthy relationships or not, whether there are ones to grow with or not, and how you are going to apply your Mercury and your Saturn energy. And when I get into the astrology, I will explain that a little bit better. But the reason why is Mercury and Saturn just keep coming up no matter what I'm looking at. It's just that's what's coming up. And Mercury is your communication with yourself, but it is also your communication with the outer world. And how it is that you're communicating it. Mercury does not have a right or wrong. Mercury does not care about positive or negative. Mercury is simply the communication, point blank, and it is what it is. Saturn, though, is the rules, walls, and boundaries. And how will that be restricted or work for you? Is it structured? Is it healthy? And do they need to shift or not? Within these relationships, you will have the keys to everything you need to know to move forward. Just will you choose to be in your power? Know that there is nothing to fear. Know that you cannot be manipulated or belittled or pushed around, and you are free to make the decisions you want to make. Or are you going to come out like the bull in the china shop? All of this energy is showing itself for your understanding of the reset of this of this new moon in Virgo. Virgo is the 6th house. And like I was saying last week, in the energies, and Spirit is giving me, this is the beginning times of the reckoning of, are you coming back into your power or not? Are you going to stand in your light, in your authentic truths? Will you figure out what your soulful beliefs are? And then will you betray them or not? The 6th house is your people, places, and things of energies that you consume, for it will consume you. And I say this all the time, you are what you eat. And that is your health, your diet, your hygiene, your people, places, and things of energy, and energy itself. You are what you eat. These relationships are what you eat. And these energies of this new moon, of this new direction, new idea, new setting, new goals, are showing you if the dark moon prior to this new moon in Virgo, and it's picking it all apart, is showing you if you're trying truthfully, if you're coming out of your denial and you're going down the right path or not. Because when you hit that full moon in the middle of the month of September, it'll be in Pisces. And if you are not making the right steps now, it's going to blow up in your face come that full moon. You're being given the keys to everything you need to know right now. And are you acknowledging it, or will you betray yourself? Now, here's some other information that I couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. The new moon on September 6th also falls on Rosh Hashanah. It's the Jewish New Year. It is the head of the year. But in biblical terms, it was Yom Teruah, which literally means the day of the shouting and the blasting. It is the day of awe. It is also known as the Feast of the Trumpets. Like I said, this is the beginning days of the reckoning. The beginning days of finding your spirit, finding your power, finding yourself back to it. But understanding we're coming to depths of authenticity, of soulful truth. And if you're not in that soulful truth, then you're nothing more than a bull in a china shop. So what abundance are you bringing yourself? In bull spirit guide medicine, you can be bullheaded for all the right reasons or all the wrong. So is ego getting in the way, and it's not allowing you to start a new cycle, because we are talking about a new moon. And like I said, if you are making these mistakes because you're in denial, it's going to blow up on you when you have that full moon in Pisces at the end of the month or the middle of the month. Now, let me get into the astrology here, because we have fixed star city going on. And like I was saying, in the medical astrology, you are dealing with the energies of many of the chakras are going through evaluations of trying to remove waste of lower vibrations. And a lot of these planets are sitting in the medical astrology as well as with fixed stars. Like I said, the lungs and the energy that's wrapped around the heart and trying to decide if it's giving forgiveness, acceptance, love, self-love, and are we going through this energy and we starting to purify ourselves is what is going on. So you may be feeling tense energies in the upper arms, the shoulders, the neck. Uranus is literally sitting on the vocal cords. Are we hearing and speaking our truth? Are we also allowing others to speak their truth, and are we hearing it? Then you have all of the energies that are being flushed out in the abdominal energy, abdominal areas, and the kidneys, the liver, the gallbladder. And the ankles right now is sitting right where Neptune is. So that's your magic. And if you're working your magic incorrectly, your ankles may be popping or hurting. Let's get into the astrology. You have, on a very positive note, all week long, all of these energies are all week long except for that new moon. All week long, you have Gemini, the North Node, sitting with Lilith. Here's what nobody is going to tell you. That North Node and Lilith are in energy sitting on a fixed star, in fact, 2 fixed stars, and they're called Hadium, 1 and 2. Or let me break that down easier for you. They're sitting on the Hades stars. What are the Hades stars? Hades is also Pluto, the king of the underworld. Okay? The king of the underworld, which is getting into your emotional depths, your true soulful depths. The North Node is speaking to you about everything you need to learn up close and personal in your communication with yourself and the world, and everything that is important up close and personal to you. Lilith is in a form, your fire asking you, what do you burn for? And why do you even bother to burn? Where is the soul fire coming from? Why is it there? And are you being honest and truthful with yourself about that? About that soulful fire burn. Authenticity, truth, your true rights, your true self, you can't be taken away from your soul. But you can misplace it because you haven't been listening or using it. Up close, personal in your life. This is your home, your friends that are up close and personal, your family. This is things that are close to you. The short movements, like to the store and things that have to happen. The things that have to happen and the proper communication of being able to make them happen. This is getting along wonderfully with Saturn. Setting new rules, laws, and boundaries to adjust to make it happen so that you can be the authentic, beautiful soul that you are. Underworld here, know thyself. Because it's sitting on top of Hades, which is bringing extra energies of Saturn and Mercury. That's what Hades star energies are. Saturn, Mercury, with all of the truths, all of the adjustments for rules, laws, and boundaries, touching place on the friction and the communication with everything you need to know in order to move forward, in order to fix it so that you are capable of creating what you want in your life. But it is speaking again with Saturn, with the outer world. The outer worlds of the outer world of your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. Shifting things so that they will work for you. But that also means we're taking a look at your memberships. The people that you keep in your life. Your memberships, your teams, your groups, your outer friends or work friends. And are they there to help support you coming into your goals, your dreams, and your ambitions? Are they there to support you coming into your authenticity and your soulful power and remembering who you are? Because that communication of those two and the and the Grand Trine energy is also speaking to Libra. Libra, the 7th house, speaking to Mercury. Communication again. And Mercury is sitting on 3 fixed stars, which carry the energies of Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter. Communication is going to be off the chain this week. So like I said, is it coming from, I stand in my power and I have nothing to fear. I will not be pushed around. I will not be swayed. I know how to stand in my power, and I do not have to get all kinds of aggressive and freaking out about it. Or are you the bull in the china shop, and I'm going to have my way come hell or high water, and I don't care who I destroy to do it? Because that's ego. That's someone who's not in their power. When they belittle you, when they try to be the dictator of your life, and they try to push you around, that's someone who's not in their power. That's the bull in the china shop. That's someone who clearly has ego problems. But this is a very positive energy this week. Speaking to the relationships, coming from the soul, and coming from the heart, and the truth will set you free. And if they can't get on board with being part of what's setting you free, then they shouldn't be in your life in the first place. Relationships, but we're also talking about working relationships. Outer world relationships. Like I say, sometimes you have your friends, and then sometimes you have your work friends. You are going to be seeing a dynamic within this happening. And shifting the proper boundaries, the proper communication, and acknowledging, are you in your fire for the right reasons? Or are you in your fire simply because you feel like you're being backed into a cage? Now, you also have a T-square with Gemini with the nodes themselves. And the nodes serve the moon. Remember, we're coming to a new moon. The moon speaks to our emotional, our mental, and our physical. Our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. And I already said you'll be feeling things in the lungs, the hips, the thighs, the ankles, the vision, your vocal cords, your kidneys, your bladder, your liver, your abdominal. All of this is about cleaning out the waste. And when you aren't getting right with yourself, then it starts to turn into a physical thing. Because it has to work, it has to flush its way out. The T-square means that these energies are not getting along. They are not seeing eye to eye. And we're talking about the north and south nodes, which serve the moon as we approach the new moon in Virgo. Gemini, again, north node, your communication, sitting on Hades with Lilith. Talking about your rules, your walls, your boundaries, your communication, your how to maneuver energies. Because Gemini is Jekyll and Hyde. It's either all emotional or it's all logical, but that's wrong. You need to learn how to merge your emotion and your mental together into a true healthy balance. This is allowing your head and your heart to communicate. When your head and your heart is not communicating well, that's also when you start to get the stiff neck and the stiff shoulders. Because the supernatural highway from the soul and the ego are not getting along, and there's a problem in there. That's why that energy starts to get jammed up. It is not getting along with the sun, which again is in Virgo. People, places, and things of energies that you consume you. You are what you eat. And that includes the energy. It is your daily routines, your daily activities. It is your health, your diet. Everything that is mundane that you do on a daily basis, nothing about the mundane is mundane. The only reason is because you overlook it, because you do it so much that you don't acknowledge if you're even doing it anymore. All right, there's part of your keys. And then what's happening with the repetitive energy going on within the relationships. There's a big key for you this week. The sun is illuminating all that repetitive energy and the energy that you are consuming in your people, places, and things. Asking you about the proper communication, but what it's not also getting along with is the South Node. The South Node in Sag is, I look at Sag as is your ninth house on a universal scale. Like I said, if you're getting into somebody else's natal chart, it will shift these energies to a point, but the energy will still apply. It will just now apply with more things to go into depth. That ninth house is owned by Sagittarius, period. And Sagittariuses are somewhat, I say, like Aquariuses. They're all about the humanitarian interests. They always see and know and can see through the bullshit and understand the bigger picture. But they forget that they are part of the picture. South Node is wanting to look into the future and try this and try that and do this, and it's your ethics and your morals as well as your spiritual and your psychic energies. But when your ethics and your morals are still caught in ego, South Node is everything that you're good at, but it's no longer good for you. So this is saying, is the sun illuminating for you what needs to change? And are you afraid to do what needs to change in your daily routines? People, places, and things of energies that you consume. Are you afraid to change it into your mundane because it's healthy for you, but it's not comfortable because that means change is happening? Or will you continue to do the same things you've always done in your mundane, which actually are unhealthy? Whether it's people, places, things, health, diet, hygiene, daily mundane routines, All of this is playing a factor here. This is not about looking into the future. This is what can we do right here and right now. And what can we do up close and personal in our life? Because any light worker will tell you, you must start with you. And if you aren't fixing you, then you can forget fixing out there. So we have to acknowledge where we have to break and exercise the machine from within, so that we can break the cage ultimately altogether. Now, you have Mars this week, which is wonderfully getting along with Pluto. Again, nothing but the idea of Hades again. This is your underworld. The underworld of your truths that you're afraid of getting to know about yourself. Pluto is death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, and regeneration. Pluto is in the 10th house. That is your outer world. It is your work and your career zone, but it is also the political arena. Death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, and regeneration. But Pluto is like the hidden source of your light. The part that you're afraid to believe in. The part that you're afraid to get on board with. The part that you're afraid when you come into your power. What am I going to do? You're a little afraid of yourself. Afraid of coming into your true authenticity. It's getting along great with Mars. Now let me explain something else to you. You have so many planets that are in retrograde, and Mercury is slowing down already for its retrograde. As well as Venus is slowing down already for its retrograde. So truthfully, the only planet that's moving forward in its true full power is Mars. Mars is also in Virgo, and that is speaking to you about those mundane tasks. Your people, places, and things of energies that you consume. Consuming the energies that also will consume you. Your routines. Mars is asking you to take action, but it's getting along great with Pluto with the outer world. So if you're doing it right and you're not doing it like a bull in a china shop, this should work well for you this week. But what's not working well is having the courage to do it. Because Pluto is not getting along with Venus, which is in the 7th house. And Venus is sitting there with Vista, which is the keys to knowledge. Not to mention the 7th house, at both sides of the 7th house, is sitting there with the collective conscious, Haumea, and Make, which is the lotus flower, and asking you where you are in these relationships. And is the relationship supporting the true authentic soul that you are? Like I was saying in the beginning, figure out what your soul beliefs are. Figure out from deep inside of you where your soul wants you to go. What you believe in. Not what you were told to believe in. Not what you were told this is good for you or isn't. What does your soul tell you about you? And then will you betray it? Venus is your sensitivity. And your sensitivity on your physical body. Your emotional, your mental, and your physical body. She is sitting with Vista, the keys of knowledge, surrounded by the collective consciousness, Haumea, and Make, the lotus flower of the growth of your spirituality. And then the both of them are sitting on the fixed star that is carrying the energies of Mercury and Saturn. This takes us right back to rules, walls, and boundaries, and the proper communication, resetting it. Are you afraid to create what you want? Are you afraid to have the best, healthiest relationships in your world? Or are you going to continue to settle? I do not know how many times I can say. I've been saying for a while now. There are so many people who are still in karmic relationships because that's all they've ever known is karmic relationships. All they've ever understood was how to fight for understanding to love me. But what they're not doing is loving themselves, which keeps the karmic relationship going. Twin flames are meant to come into union, but they cannot come into the union and they cannot do what they are supposed to do if they cannot learn to get out of these karmic relationships. You have got to believe in yourself. You have got to believe in your power. You have got to come into your authenticity. And you have got to not be afraid of that. Will you be afraid of experiencing you and what you truly desire in the relationship? Where are your soulful beliefs? Will you submit? Which ultimately, like I said, the keys to your happiness right now are in these relationships. And relationships are any and everything you care about. You have a relationship with your friends. You have a relationship with your lovers. You have a relationship with your children. You have a relationship with your parents. You have a relationship with your work friends. You have a relationship with your bosses. You have a relationship with your money. When you have no money, you know about your relationship with no money. When you have a relationship with your home, when you don't have a home or a roof over your head, you know about it. You have a relationship with your security. No more denial. This is the beginning of the reckoning. Will you come back into your light and start being the true authentic soul that you are and stop being afraid of everything that you want, that you have the power within you to create? Or will you keep submitting and then you're going to be a bull in a china shop? And then you're going to be even more out of whack physically because you're really not happy. Neptune and Pallas this entire week is not getting along with Mars. Mars, I already told you, is the only planet that's at full speed and moving forward in complete direct energy. Mars is your warrior, your inner SWAT team. It is your passion, your action, your aggression, your fire. Sitting in Virgo. It is very much going, yes, this is right. No, this is wrong. Yes, this is good for me. No, this is not. We need to do this. No, the fuck we don't need to do that. People, places, and energies that you consume you. You are feeding yourself with energy. What are you feeding it with? Your mundane tasks are only mundane again, like I've said a million times, because you overlook them. Because you do it so repetitively. So is it time to change these routines? Health, diet, hygiene, energy. It is not getting along with Neptune. It's not getting along with the magic that you create. Because Neptune is at 22 degrees with Pallas, strategic thinking in the universal 12th house. Grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities and secrets, lies and denials. Everything about the 12th house screams, I need to heal, but I don't want to deal with it. Mars is not getting along with everything that you are being shown to heal. But will you have the courage to realize trying something new is exactly where you need to go? Magic does not care, just like Mercury does not care. Neptune does not care if it's creating a healthy new cycle or an old cycle. It will create what you give it, especially with it in that 12th house. Grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurity, secrets, skeletons in the closet. What needs to heal? What needs to heal needs to be taken action upon now. Uranus is sitting on another fixed star. In fact, 2 fixed stars. And it's sitting on the actual vocal cords. This is why I said your communication is everything. Your rules, laws, and boundaries are everything. It's the beginning of the reckoning for us. It's the beginning of shifting. And will you shift in healthy, positive ways because of what you're being told? Will you have the courage of the lion, is what I was just told. Will you be the king of your kingdom? The kingdom in your life, you are the king and the queen of your kingdom. And you alone are responsible for how your kingdom is ran. Are you a healthy, noble king? Or do you need to realize where you need to make some corrections within your kingdom? And what will you do? Strength. Like I said, the bull is abundance, strength, and power. But it could be bullheaded for all the right reasons or the wrong reasons. Uranus is your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem. And when you are not in your power, someone else will be. It is not getting along with Saturn, that outer world. Meaning, if you don't stand up for yourself, well, then you get what you deserve. Because you didn't have the courage to be you. You have to stand up and speak. I don't want to say speak your mind. It's not like telling people off. It's not like word vomit. But if you do not stand up for you, don't expect the world to do it for you. If you can't speak what you want to create, you sure as hell aren't going to create it. You have to be soulful enough to know what you want, what you desire. And if that's possible, again, taking you right back to what are your soul beliefs? What are your soul beliefs? And then will you betray them? The outer world with your dreams, your hopes, your ambitions, and the groups of people that support them or don't is not getting along with Uranus. Meaning, too many people are afraid to actually say what they would like to see happen or what they would like to do. Or they're acting like a bull in a china shop, and for that very reason, it won't work. This is not about standing in our power by belittling others, because that's not power, that's ego. Standing in your power means you're fearless and you have nothing to lose, and that's because you're not afraid. I know how to say I'm not going to do it, and that's that. But Uranus is getting along wonderfully with the sun in Virgo, illuminating all of those mundane tasks again and the energies that you consume, your daily routines. So this is giving you everything you need to pull yourself back up that ladder. It's like I say all the time, the universe is funny, or God is funny, however you want to see it. He gives you the rope to either climb the tree or to get up there and hang yourself with it. It's free will. Will you experience your soulfulness? Will you dig deep into what is important to you? Or will you betray it again because it's easier to submit? It's easier to just accept. Chiron is the wounded healer in Aries, the beginning of the cycle. It is getting along great with the North Node, meaning it's very comfortable with going, I'll just stay doing what I've always done. I'll just stay doing what I've always done. I'm not ever going to be happy, but I'm comfortable with it because that's all I know. Or it can also, I'm sorry, I said that completely wrong. Chiron is getting along with the South Node. But that's exactly saying the same thing. It's getting along with the South Node because it doesn't want to heal. It's afraid to heal. What it's not getting along with is the communication in Mercury. What are you afraid to say to the people that are in your life? If you're so afraid of harming them, If you're so afraid of standing up for yourself, you're so afraid of having a good relationship, then you don't really want a good relationship. Why do you keep people in your life that don't support your soulful growth? Because if they do, then they're going to understand and they're going to try to work with you. This isn't telling people it's my way or the highway. This is communication in relationships, which means growth needs to happen. So don't be afraid to say what is going on in your heart and your soul and where your heart and soul wants it to go. Because at least that way you find out the truth. And here's the kicker that nobody is going to talk to you about. And this is part of why I said it's a very sensitive week. And why I went into the whole biblical energies of Rosh Hashanah, which is the beginning of the year, the new year for the Jewish New Year, which takes place on September 6th, the new moon in Virgo. And the biblical name for it was Yom Tarahan. Trying to make sure I'm saying it right. Which literally meant the days of awe. The day of shouting and blasting. The feast of the trumpets. And why keep going on about the bull in the china shop or coming into your power? Because in that first house of Aries, Eris is here. And most are not going to talk to you about Eris, which is trouble, toil, strife. I often refer to her, the way I see her in astrology, is Medusa. Where where justice did not get served. And she's still pissed. She's still pissed. Medusa got given a bad hand. I see Eris as Medusa. Trouble, toil, and strife. And what am I still pissed off about that I cannot heal? Because I don't believe I have the power to heal it. But that's a lie. She is not getting along with Venus and Vista, the keys to the knowledge of the relationships, by actually coming face to face with the true sensitivity of the relationship. Venus supports the healthy communication. She gives you the grace and the power to communicate it in healthy ways. But she also tells you where the betrayal is and where the lies are. You can't have the sweet without the sour, honey. If you want the relationships to be anything, you have to get to the true roots of them. And then decide from there where it's going. The true collective consciousness within the relationship. It can't be any more of this, I'd rather choose to be unconscious to it. No. Eris, trouble, toil, and strife. If you are still holding resentment and you're still trying to keep this relationship going, you might as well kiss it goodbye. Within everything, and I've said a million times, your relationship is not just your lover relationship. It's your friends, your family, your parents, your children. It is your working environment. It is everything that you care about, you have a relationship with. So where are you in denial about your resentment with that relationship? Because that is the way out. That is the way into healing it. Yeah, they just told me that is how you end the cycle. By facing it. And if you don't have the courage to face it, then you will start the cycle again. Venus is not love. She is your sensitivity, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. The keys to the truth are in the relationships. But will you have the courage to face them? Will you have the courage to let the dead to the dead? And keep life with the life? And know the difference? Or are you going to let the vampire energy keep sucking away at the resentment behind you? Everything you need to know in order to break the cage and break the machine is already in front of you, my loves. It's just, do you have the courage to do it? Bye, guys. I'll see you next week.